This is the Zero Breeze Mark II air conditioner, and what a game changer. I tested this out last week. I went camping. It was 95 degrees in the daytime, and it went to 85 degrees right when I went into the rooftop tent. It was gross, humid. No one was camping around me. I live in Texas, and summertime camping is not ideal unless you have something like this. I'm going to show you exactly all the key points, what happened during the night. But before I go over that, I want to go over the specs and the details and the functions of the Zero Breeze Mark II. The Zero Breeze Mark II is an air conditioner made for people that are going to be sleeping in ground tents, rooftop tents, maybe a small van. It's made for small areas. It's not made to cool big areas. There's two ways to power the Zero Breeze Mark II. Is one with their battery that they sell. Again, this battery, I'll put the size down below. I believe it's in the 800 watt hour size. This lasted about 6 hours in my testing, which I will show you. It will last just for one night. That's it. You're gonna have to recharge it after that. Basically, it runs, you fall asleep, and then by the time you wake up, it had already died, but you want to sleep pretty comfortably. The second method that you could power it is using their AC adapter, which is just a regular wall socket plug. If you have a power station like I do, you can hook it up to your power station and run it off of that. In my testing, I actually did the battery pack and I did a power station, so I'll show you how that went. The Zero Breeze is not like an air conditioner that you have at home where you can set the temperature. This actually all it does is grabs the ambient air and cools it down as much as possible. In my testing, it did really well, but they advertised around 28 degrees, which wasn't the case for me. But it did shoot very cold air through here. So again, you can't set the temperature on this. You cannot do that. All it does is gets the ambient air. Let's say it's 80 degrees outside, and it's gonna cool it maybe about, it's gonna go in the 60s. It's really cold air. This is an air conditioner, it's legit, but you can't set the temperature on this. Now let's go over the buttons and the functions that the Zero Breeze has. First of all, you have the fan mode, which is just pulling the fan. The rocket one is going to be your high output cooling, so if you want it to start cooling quick, that's the one you want to put. The snowflake is just your regular cooling. The moon, the sleep mode, is your low output air conditioning. And then you have a light function. The air vent has an LED around it, pretty nice. And then you have your speeds and your power button. These buttons are touch sensitive, which I'm not a big fan of. A few times during the night, I accidentally hit them, and I hit the power button to turn it off. And whenever you turn off the power station, you can't turn it on for a minute because it goes into the safe mode where it just stays off. So I wish there were actual real buttons, but that's okay. Another thing I did notice with the buttons is that they were pretty bright, and you couldn't turn off those lights. So my rooftop tent had blue lights inside of it. They weren't super bright, but if that bothers you, well, that's something to know. Here on the battery pack, you have a power button. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 LED blinking lights that will tell you the percentage that you're at. So the lower it goes, the less battery you have. You have 2 USB-A charging ports, 1 USB-C, and this one, I'm not too sure what this one is. It's a 12 volt. But these are charging ports to charge your iPhone, whatever you want. But if I were you, I would not use these because you want to conserve this battery pack for your air conditioning unit. Now let's talk about the rear of the Zero Breeze. Here you have an LED indicator light that tells you when it's on and off. In a little bit, I will turn on the Zero Breeze and I'll show you guys how it all functions. Here you have your intake, and here you have your exhaust. Down here is your water line. So you're gonna have to put this drip line, which I'll go over in a little bit. This is your little drip line, so all the water can go out of the Zero Breeze. Because this is an air conditioning unit, it does create water from evaporation. I'm not sure, but water does come out through here. Here's one thing that I don't like about the Zero Breeze is the connection type. It's this barrel style 4-prong male and female. It's a very odd cable, very specific cable. So if you lose this, good luck. You're gonna have to order one. You can't go to the store or something, and this isn't one of those universal cables. So the way that the battery pack connects is you plug in the cable here, and then you plug it here. So if you want to plug in the AC adapter, you plug the AC adapter to the wall, And the AC adapter plugs in directly to the Zero Breeze air conditioner. And if you want to charge the battery pack, you're gonna have to plug this in to the battery pack. Let's go over the other stuff that it comes with. It comes with these tubes, 2 tubes here, 1 tube here, and then your water line. This one I'd highly recommend. This was a big help when I was running it in the tent, which I'll go over in my review in the tent. And these are your intake and exhaust tubes. So you want to put these through the window, which I'll show you in my demonstration. And the water line itself plugs in like this. You want to make sure this is tight because you don't want it dripping inside your tent. So this will shoot out to the back. Let's actually go ahead and put these on. I think looks up like this. There you go. You got your 2 tubes. Let me see if I can zoom this a little bit. I can't. I'll move it up here forward for y'all. So you can see you got your intake and exhaust. You got your water line. And you got the one up front. Now let's do a demonstration of the Zero Breeze. I'm actually gonna turn it on right now out here. I'm not gonna hook up the water line or any of that because we're outside and it's just a demonstration. The only thing I will say to know, very important with the Zero Breeze, is that it has to stay put like this. If you can't be transporting it sideways and all that because that can mess with the compressor or the AC components that it has. Another thing that you need to know is that because the water needs to exit this way, you cannot have the Zero Breeze sitting inclined forward. That you cannot do. Make sure you go through the manual if you do buy this. It does state that you cannot have it forward. You can have it sitting a little inclined like this, so it's easier for the water to flow out. So for the demonstration, I'm actually not gonna run it on the battery pack. I actually haven't charged it. I camped about a week ago and I haven't charged it yet. And obviously on my camping trip, I fully drained it. But I am gonna use the AC plug to show you guys also how much power it takes from a power station, which in the review video in the tent, I do show it, but that was with a different power station. I wanna see what this Anchor power station shows. So let's go ahead and plug it in. Here. As you can see here, the indicator light turned on red. Oh man, it does get a little heavy with the battery pack. Actually, let's go ahead and take the battery pack off. And here is the battery pack. You see the way that it clamps on to the Zero Breeze, and it does have a little handle here, which makes it easier. Let's put this guy on the side here. We got the Zero Breeze. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Okay, starting off. Our indicator light on the rear now turned blue. I'm not sure what that means when it's red and then it goes to blue. I'm assuming now it's pushing the cold air out. So it will gradually start going down on here. And actually, let me go bring my little thermometer to see if that's the actual number. Actually, we'll leave it down here for now. We'll leave it there, see if that's true. We'll leave our thermometer there for now. We're gonna wait for it to keep going down and see if it matches to what the Zero Breeze is telling me. Let's go ahead and check our numbers. Let's see how much power it's drawing from our power station. Right now, we are on the rocket mode, which is a high output. And right now it's pulling 145 watts. So in our testing, on our camping testing, you will see how it did on the sleep mode, which is, there is a slight difference in power output, but we're actually going up still, 153 right now. We'll let it run. We'll let it keep going, working. Let's go back with our thermometer. It's dropping, it's still going. While that thing keeps going, some other tips that you want to know is I've seen some people online use a Zero Breeze and have it set outside of their tent and then run this inside the tent. You do want to make sure you insulate this pipe because the longer it runs, that air, the more heat will attack it. So by the time it gets to your tent, it won't be as cold as if you would have had this right in your face. So again, if you're gonna have this sitting outside, be aware that if you're gonna run this tube long into your tent, you need to have this insulated. And also, Zero Breeze is really not intended to be sitting outside. It's a I wouldn't say fragile product, but it's not very heavy duty. So this is something you want to have inside your tent. Right now that it's still cooling down, let's go ahead and listen to how noisy the Zero Breeze is. As you can tell, most of that noise is that exhaust. You got your intake here, and you got your exhaust, and that's really what's making a lot of the noise. I will have to say about the noise is when I was going to sleep, it really was a soothing noise. It's one of those fan noises that kind of puts you to sleep. It was really, really nice. And again, if you're gonna have this in your tent, you obviously wanna run those pipes. Right now, because we are outside, we are doing it this way. It's totally fine. But you're gonna have this in your tent, you wanna run those pipes, and you wanna have them run separately from each other so the intake's not really getting the exhaust. I wanna show you guys the ambient temperature that we have right now. It's hard to tell there, but it says 86 degrees on top, and it's pushing out 66-degree breeze out. That's a 20-degree difference. It's not the 28-degree that they claim, but 20-degree change is pretty good. And right now it's not really running optimal. If maybe we had the exhaust tubes, it might be a little better. Let's see how accurate the Zero Breeze thermometer is to my thermometer. Let's see. We are at 66 degrees. Where are we at? We're at 65. That's fairly accurate. So let's go ahead and check our numbers with the power station. And right now we're pulling 242 watts. My power station is at 76%. Again, this is a 2000 watt hour power station, and it says you can run like this for about 5.5 hours, which is not much. But let's go ahead and see what happens if we put it on the sleep mode. This is actually pretty good. It's 157 watts. 100 watts less than it was running on the high output. So if you run this on the high output just to get your tent cooled a little bit, and then you put it on the sleep mode, this isn't too bad. And this is what I used when I went to sleep, and it was perfectly fine. It's still cold. It's perfectly fine. We're doing 145 right now. I have 8.5 hours remaining. That's a big deal. We are marking 70 degrees, a 5-degree difference from what it was on the high outputs. We're still dropping 139. Actually, I wanted to see some of the buttons that are on here, the plus and minus. I don't know if that's a fan speed. Let's try it out. To me, it sounds like it's fan speed. I'll put it down below if it is or not. I'll go over the manual a little bit more. Our numbers are still at 140 watts. We got 9 hours remaining at 75%. And we're still kind of dropping a little bit, staying at 140. Again, I will show you guys the numbers that I was getting during the nighttime. Now let's go ahead and put it on just the snowflake mode. The exhaust is getting a little louder. Let's see what numbers we're pushing here. We're going now 147, 153. It's obviously going to go up because the snowflake is kind of the middle between the rocket and the sleep mode. Our temperature's still marking 70 degrees. We're pushing 173 right now. 7.5 hours remaining. 181. So I think the sweet spot is to get this on the rocket mode when you get in your tent. Well, by the time you're gonna go to sleep, put it on the night mode and you're good to go. Right now we're pushing out 201 watts on the snowflake mode. All right, guys. So we are in the rooftop tent. As you can tell, we are in here. I've already closed these windows. I'm about to close this one. It is 8:49. The temperature, we're saying it's 89 outside. It's marking 85 in here. It's nasty in here. Even if with the windows open, it's not good. So I have the battery hooked up to the Zero Breeze. I have all the intake and exhaust and the water line going out. So I think it's time to fire it up because I'm burning here. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's turn this on. Working 83. All right. So let's go ahead and close this window already. Okay. And I am sweating. It's nasty outside. I'm serious. Okay. So, I got the zero breeze going. It's gonna take a little bit. So again, 86 degrees, 71% humidity. That's exactly how I'm feeling with that little face. So we'll leave it in here. Right now it's running on that rocket mode. Yeah, it's getting, you can feel it's getting pretty nice. Once I go to sleep, I'll put it on the night mode. I do have a power station in here that's halfway battery, and this one's also halfway battery. I do have the AC adapter to this in case this thing dies and it's unbearable in here. Then we'll run it. One thing I didn't do on this test is I didn't put the insulation on the tent. This did come with insulation, and I think if I would have put it, it's gonna help out with keeping the cool air in here. But I didn't want to put it for test purposes. If it was just for me, I would, but for test purposes, because most of you guys don't have insulation, I took it off just so we can be fair. So it's 8:52. I'll update you guys in like about 10 minutes. All right, guys, it's 9:07, 9:08, and temperature is dropping and dropping. Over here is marking 59. I will say that over here it's a lot warmer than over here. I'm really comfortable over here. I haven't moved the thermostat just because I started off over there, but let's move it over to my end. 9:13. We're still dropping. We're still going. It's already comfortable on this end. Even my feet, I mean, my feet, it could be warmer over there. It's not a big deal. All I care is my head is nice and cool. Here's the reading. It is 9:24. I can say that on this end, I can go to sleep already. I'm good. That end, if your head was over there, it might be a little warmer, but my feet, don't mind it. It's still nice. And I'm expecting still the temperature to keep dropping in here. It's still trying to cool down in here. 9:44, 85 degrees outside. This thing is saying it's 56 degrees. I don't know why it says that, but I don't know if it's trying to push that temperature out, but it's been staying around 76 at the moment. Further in the night, once the ambient temperature outside gets cooler, then this will be cooler as well. So I had to go into the truck and get this whole piece because I had to move the zero breeze. I was worried about the drip line, that it wouldn't go this way because it has to go up a little bit, so I had to reroute it this way. So when I moved it, the temperature went a little bit higher. 10:37, 83 degrees outside. But I do have some very, very good news, is that before I really go to sleep right now, I'm gonna put it on, let's put it on the night mode, which is a low draw one, so we can conserve some battery. This right here, this is all you need, guys. I have it facing right in front of me, and man, it's like too cold. It's a little too cold, so that's why I'm gonna put it on that setting. I don't need that much because all this is, You know, if I was sleeping, my head was over here, it wouldn't be that great. I could still sleep, but it's not that great. It's around 77 degrees. By the way, the exhaust gets a little warm, so it does give out a little bit of heat. So what I did is I put the insulation blanket, and that really helped. Some sort of insulation around it really changed everything, because I don't feel it on my foot anymore. So as you can tell, it kind of relaxed a little bit. So we're gonna leave it like that for tonight and see what happens. So again, it's 10:38. Good night, guys.
It's pretty cold. Once you go to sleep, or you're asleep, and then it's shooting like that in front of you, you have to tuck yourself into the sleeping bag or something, because it gets pretty chilly, which is a good problem to have. Put another timer and see how long it'll last. Obviously it's gonna turn off in about 2-3 hours. It is 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, 78 degrees outside. We're marking 70 degrees in here. As you can see, I'm still tucked in. That's how cold it gets when it's pointing right at you. It's really nice and comfy. So there you go, update on that. Oh, we got two out of 5 LED lights. So I'll set up another timer. So 2:30, set up another timer for maybe 4:30. And after that, I'm gonna be waking up like at 6:30 or so. Finally died. 3:35. I actually died maybe about 20-30 minutes ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it into a power station and see how much I can get out of it for tonight. Oh, now we're back to some cool air, because being off for about 20-30 minutes, it wasn't as nice in here anymore. You could feel it again. So went ahead and plugged it in. Right now I have it on the night mode, and that's what it's showing right now, that I'm getting 105 watts. So this power station was at 62%. So I'm on, it says it's 4 hours left, so we're gonna leave it like that. I'm waking up in about 2-3 hours, so I think I'll make it through the night.
Well, to conclude this video, I really think this is a game changer. This thing really works. The Zero Breeze Mark II worked perfectly. I think if I had a better insulated tent, it could have done a lot better. Maybe it cooled the tent completely. In my testing, it only cooled my body. So if you're camping alone in a tent, this is perfect, because you put it directly at yourself and you're good to go. I was camping at 86-degree weather by the time I got in my rooftop tent. It was nasty. Obviously, temperature did go down probably around 3 in the morning into the mid 70s. Still, if you were camping with no air conditioning, it would have still been pretty miserable. because I've done that before and the humidity was high. But this thing was nice. I slept really cold. I had to get in my sleeping bag because it was too cold. If you have it shooting directly at you, pretty cold. If you don't have this on, it won't be that good. You need to really have this on you. So if you're camping with other people, it might be a little different in the tent. They might not feel it's cold, but the way I tested it, as you saw, was I was just in a regular rooftop tent. I did have insulation, and you saw that I put the insulation on the exhaust. I could have put that against the walls. It might have actually helped a lot better. Maybe you're sleeping in a teardrop camper, one of those little tiny teardrop campers with those hard walls. Maybe this will work a lot better because it's better insulated than just fabric. So again, my testing was done for most people that are out there. They're gonna just do regular tent camping. So again, if you have the money for this, I would recommend it. It's worked out great. There is a really cool Facebook group that you can find on Facebook for Zero Breeze owners. A lot of people will give a lot of tips and ideas on what you can do with Zero Breeze. There's a lot of things that they talk about, a lot of pros and a lot of cons. So that's another good place to go check out more information regarding the Zero Breeze. But I do recommend it. This is a game changer for me. This basically has unlocked summer camping for me. I can go to Big Bend National Park where it's super hot, and at nighttime it's in the 80s. Now I can go comfortably camp there. So really excited for this, guys. The first night was awesome. I think that was probably the most comfortable camping I've done. Even though it was insanely hot outside, this thing put me to sleep. It was super cold. The noise of the Zero Breeze put me to sleep. It's actually really nice. I really like it. So anyways, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is hardcore glamping at this point? What do you guys think? Leave them down below. Also, before you leave, please check the link down below for the Zero Breeze and for my actual camping trip video on my other channel. Go check that out.